Responses that make toxic people feel powerless. Some people are not looking for understanding. They are looking for control. They want emotional reactions, explanations, guilt, and access to your attention. The moment they stop getting those things, something changes. Not because they suddenly lose interest, but because they lose influence. Toxic people often feel powerful when they can affect your emotions. When they can't, their usual strategies stop working. And that is where real psychological power begins. Here are 7 psychological insights into the responses that make toxic people feel powerless. 1. Calm silence. A toxic person provokes because they want a reaction. They expect anger, defensiveness, or emotional explanations. Calm silence removes the reward they are seeking. It gives them no information and no emotional leverage. Without a reaction, they cannot measure their influence over you. This often creates frustration because their usual methods stop producing results. Silence is not weakness. In psychology, silence can be a form of emotional independence. 2. You are entitled to your opinion. Toxic people often try to pull others into endless arguments. The goal is rarely understanding. The goal is control. When you simply acknowledge their opinion without fighting it, the conflict loses momentum. You are not agreeing. You are refusing to participate in the power struggle. This response removes the emotional fuel that keeps manipulation alive. The result is often discomfort because they expected resistance. Instead, they encounter emotional neutrality. 3. Consistent boundaries. Many toxic individuals test limits repeatedly. They look for inconsistency. They look for moments when pressure changes your decision. A consistent boundary sends a different message. It shows that your choices are not controlled by guilt, fear, or manipulation. Predictable boundaries create psychological stability. Manipulative behavior becomes less effective when it produces the same outcome every time. What feels powerful to toxic people is access. Boundaries reduce that access. 4. No without justification. Many people feel pressured to explain every decision. Toxic people often use those explanations against them. They search for weaknesses. They search for openings. A simple and respectful no closes those openings. Communicates self-respect. It shows confidence in your own judgment. The more someone depends on controlling others, the more uncomfortable they become when they encounter firm decisions. A person who does not need approval is difficult to manipulate. That is why a simple no can feel so powerful. 5. Refusing to defend yourself against false accusations. Toxic people sometimes make exaggerated claims or unfair accusations. Their goal is often emotional engagement. They want you trapped in endless self-defense. The more you defend yourself, the more control they gain over the conversation. Refusing to participate changes the dynamic. It signals that your identity is not dependent on their approval. Emotionally healthy people seek understanding. Manipulative people often seek reactions. When reactions disappear, their influence weakens. The impact is significant. The cycle of control begins to break. 6. Staying emotionally consistent. Toxic behavior often relies on emotional instability. They create confusion. They create uncertainty. They create emotional highs and lows. Many people become easier to influence when emotionally overwhelmed. Consistency interrupts this process. Remaining calm during praise. Remaining calm during criticism. Remaining calm during pressure. This makes emotional manipulation much harder. Your emotional state becomes your own responsibility instead of their tool. Psychologically, this represents emotional self-regulation. And self-regulation is one of the strongest forms of personal power. 7. Walking away from unproductive conflict. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Toxic people often believe persistence will eventually wear someone down. They rely on exhaustion. They rely on emotional fatigue. Walking away removes access to both. It communicates that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. Many people think power comes from dominating conversations. In reality, power often comes from choosing where your attention goes. Attention is emotional currency. When you stop investing it in toxic dynamics, their influence begins to shrink. And that is often what they fear most. The deepest form of power is not controlling other people. It is controlling your own responses. Toxic people often depend on emotional reactions, confusion, and access to your attention. When those things disappear, their strategies become less effective. The goal is not to defeat anyone. The goal is to understand human behavior and protect your emotional well-being. If this helped you understand people better, subscribe for more psychology insights.